Okay, well, now we've got this half to do. Honestly, it's taken so long. Hello my loves, and thank you for joining me. It's Kirsten, and today we are doing an unhaul, and I have been procrastinating this unhaul for a while. These have just been piled up against a wall for a very long time, just accumulating. So I went through a few months ago, I feel like it was a couple months ago, I was going through my shelves, I was doing a bit of rearranging, and I was just taking off things because I was just like, I want my shelves to reflect me, my reading taste and things. I don't want to keep holding on to things that I'm just never going to reread and things. But prior to that, I do always, if I finish reading a book and after I've done the wrap up for it and I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to keep this book, it's not staying on my shelves, I just put it in a little pile that just builds and builds and builds. And normally I'm pretty good at doing more regular unhauls of just like getting the books out, but because I have the space, I haven't felt the need, and so this has been accumulating for like a year and a bit now. So I've got quite a lot to get through. I also have a snippet of past me sending some books to my sister that she wanted, and I didn't want her to wait months for me to finally get around to filming it, so we're gonna have that. And in total, between those books that I sent off to her and all of these, it is about 100 books. So I am not going to go into depth into what these books are about and things like that. I'm literally going to say what it is, maybe like a sentence about it, about why I'm not keeping it, and then move on because there's too many books to get through. Grab yourselves a beverage, settle in, this is going to be a bit of a long one, and yeah, we're just going to get straight into it. And just a little disclaimer, like if these are books that you absolutely love and things, that is nothing against you and your reading taste or anything like that. It's just it doesn't work for me. It could be at the time, it could be I know I'm never going to reread it, or if I want to reread it I know I can get it from my local library. So it's just about me keeping my shelves like up to date. Plus I don't need 700 books in my room, okay? I've got these 100 here that I'm getting rid of, and I still have almost 600 books on my shelves. So I just don't need to keep hold of books that I know I have no plans to read or reread, or just ones that I didn't enjoy. It is nothing against you. If you enjoy these books, you're right, okay? You're absolutely valid. Books are going to be different for everyone, but okay, I'm just going to get straight into it, and I don't really know where to start. Actually, I'm going to have a drink and I'm going to let past me kick this off. So let's insert that clip. Past Kirsten, a box of books. That's going to my sister. So I don't want her to wait until July before she gets these books, so I'm just going to go through what ones I'm sending to her, which this box is so heavy. I received 2 arcs of Then Things Went Dark by B. Fitzgerald, and while it seems like it's going to be an interesting thriller, I think my sister would prefer it more than me, so that's going to go to her. We've got The Graveyard Shift by Maria Lewis. This is another kind of like thriller murder thing that's going on. She really likes her thriller books. I tend to read them and then unhaul them, so again, figured she'll probably prefer this one. She asked for A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed with, I think this was the Waterstones exclusive. You know what, I read this, wasn't that impressed with it. It just, I think for me it was mismarketed and I wasn't as enthralled. I think Ava Reed is an author I keep wanting to like, but in reality I've only liked one of their books. But again, I think my sister will probably prefer this one. I liked the elements of it, like the fairy tale folklore vibe to it. That was interesting, but it definitely wasn't what it was marketed as a dark academia in my opinion, but that's fine. We also have Irish Gothic fairy stories. I tried reading this one, I couldn't get on with it, but my sister wants to read it, so that's fine. Every Exquisite Thing by Laura Stevenson. This is one that I read, liked, I'm not gonna reread. This is a Dorian Gray reimagining. Basically we're following Penny. She goes to the Dorian Drama Academy School, and we do have portraits that are being painted and murders that are happening and all sorts of stuff. Again, I think my sister will like this one. I'm not going to reread it, so why not? Then she asked for Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel because one of her friends said this was really good. I attempted to read this. I was meant to be doing a buddy read with Chris, and she actually persevered and read this book, and I have not picked it up since I attempted to read it, and I just don't think it's for me, so hopefully my sister has better luck. Then we have Sunbringer by Hannah Kenner. I've decided I'm not gonna bother finishing out the series. Like literally the 3rd book's out, I could easily read it and finish it out. I'm just not as interested. Like God Killer was fine, it's just not for me, so I'm actually unhauling the 1st book as well, which will come up in a later part of this video. But for now, my sister asked for Sunbringer. And again, this was the Waterstones exclusive, and these are beautiful and I was so tempted to keep them, but I know I'm never going to reread this series. So we then have A Good House for Children by Katie Collins. I enjoyed this book. It's kind of like a haunted house situation. I thought it was good. There were definitely moments that freaked me out, and again, my sister likes scary stuff, so figured she might like that one. All the Dead Lie Down by Kari McCauley. This is a book that was part of the Lot Library subscription. I liked it enough. It's a young adult horror, again kind of like a spooky house, creepy children type situation, and I don't know, I liked it. I thought it was good. Again, I'm probably not going to reread it. I kept hold of it because I really like this edition, but I'm not going to reread it. There's no point having it on my shelves. And then the last of all these books are actually Stephanie Garber books, which I do like, don't get me wrong, but I'm never going to reread them. So we've got Once Upon a Broken Heart, Ballad of Never After, A Curse of True Love. So we've got that trilogy, which again, you know, I did like these. You know, they've all got their signature under the dust jacket, each one being different. You know, they're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I really enjoyed the first one, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I wasn't happy with how it ended, and I think I've just kind of had enough. Like, these were really fun and cute at the time, but I'm not going to reread them. I'd be interested in Stephanie Garber's. I think she's coming out with an adult book. It would be a debut adult novel, so I'll be interested in that. Then we have the original trilogy. This is out of order. We've got Carvel, Legendary, and Finale. Now, originally I was going to keep Carvel because out of all the books for Stephanie Garber, this is probably the one that I would reread the most. I really enjoyed this. I have read it a couple of times. I just think it was a really good book, but my sister wanted the other two, and I was like, you know what, as you want it, did you want the first one as well? And she said yes, so figured why not, because if she's actually going to read them and enjoy them, then that's great. I can always pick this up from a library if I feel like doing a reread at some point. Like, this was literally just going to be a placeholder on my shelves for the Stephanie Garber book. You know, I do like them. It's not that I don't like them, it's just I know I'm not going to reread the whole series ever again. At most, I would reread this first book, which is why I was going to keep just this one. But like I say, I can get it from the library, and if my sister's going to enjoy it, I'd rather it go to somebody that's enjoying it. So those are also being added to the pile. So we have these 6 plus these ones. So we've got about 15 books that is being sent down to my sister, and honestly it's only so heavy because most of them are hardbacks. But I'm gonna go and post these. Cat's now trying to get in the box, which I need to repackage, so please don't do that. I'm gonna go, future Kirsten, take it from here. With those books that are out, they're actually out of the house, they've been sent down to her, she's been enjoying and reading them. Let's just dive straight in, and I think I'm going to start with the pile that I'm most likely to knock over, which is the one that's slightly in front of me. The Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. This is one that I read last year. I like reading a Christmas murder mystery on the run up to Christmas, and this one I just didn't enjoy. I did actually DNF. Proves how long this has been building because this is from December last year. We then have The Book Thief by Marcus Suzak, and you know what, I know so many of you are going to tell me to read this book. However, I've had it sat on my shelves. Like, I picked this one up thrifted for £2, and I've just not picked it up in the years that I purchased this. And if I want to read it, I know I can get a copy from my library. I know this is much beloved. However, historical fiction, I just really struggle to get into, and so I genuinely find historical fiction is the one that I'm putting off the most, and I just don't see the point of it lounging on my shelves when I can get it from the library if and when I want to get round to reading this one. We then have If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Kawama. This is a translated book, and this one is translated by Eric Selland. And this one I read for my Japanese books reading vlog that I did a few months, well, quite a while ago actually. And you know, I wanted to love this book so much, but it just didn't really work for me. I didn't really like the writing style of this one, and also just like the premise and where it was going. Like, it just wasn't my favourite thing, unfortunately. We then have The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. This is one that I read a while ago, and you know, it was fine, but it's not one that I ever want to reread. Plus, I've heard some mixed things since reading it, and you know, it's just, I just don't need it on my shelves. We then have Nettle Black by Nat Reeve, and this is one that I liked enough, but like I say, it's historical fiction. I really like the concept that we have around gender identity and that in this book, but with it being historical fiction, again, it was a slower one for me to get into. There is a bit of like mystery and stuff, there's a little bit of darkness here and there, but I know it's not one I'm going to reread, but I think it's a really important story, so I would really like to be able to pass this off onto like a charity shop, a free library, for someone to be able to read this one and just hopefully get a little bit of something out of it. I think the story itself was really good, and I love this cover. It's just, I know I'm never going to reread it, so there's no need to hold on to it. We then have one that might upset some people, and that's God Killer by Hannah Kenna. Now, I did actually read and annotate this one. I did like it. I then read the second book, wasn't as impressed with that one. You know what, I'm not going to read that third book. I'm not going to. I really liked the idea of this book, but I know I'm not going to reread it. I think I was more in the hype of it all rather than anything else, and yeah, it's just not for me. My sister, well, you've seen it, she took the second book, but I know I'm not going to reread this series, so yeah, I'm going to take out my little tabs and things, and then I will put it in a free library because it's been annotated. We then have The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Now, this is one that I actually quite liked. I think it was decent, but I just don't need to keep a copy on my shelves. I think in future with Leigh Bardugo, I will either pick them up on 99p Kindle deals, or I will just read them from the library or something like that. Like, Leigh Bardugo is an author that I don't mind their adult work. I'm not a fan of their young adult stuff, and it's just fine. You know, it was fine. I pre-ordered this one because I brought into the hype, and it was decent. I'm pleased that I read it, but I don't need it on my shelves. It's not one I ever think about. We then have The Book of Witches, and this one is an anthology that was in the Locked Library box subscription, and honestly, I was so disappointed with that book subscription. Like, they're beautiful editions, but the books themselves were just not ones that I was ever interested in. And the reality is I keep thinking about potentially reading this, but I know I'm never actually going to pick it up, so yeah, I'm just gonna, maybe I might try and do some Vinted stuff. If I do, then I will have it linked and stuff, but I might try that, test it out. I don't know, I've never sold books like that before, but I guess a couple of these ones, like the Leigh Bardugo ones, things like that, could be done on that. Likewise with The Will of the Many, I really didn't like this book. If you saw a lot of the videos from last year, I was just complaining about this book because I just think it got really, really hype, and I can understand why it did, but I really didn't like the main character. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into it. It wasn't for me. Loads of people love it, and I'm really happy for that, but it's not for me. Then we have The Beholders by Hester Musson. I feel like I tried to read this one and then just kind of gave up on it or something. Yes, I did. I've still got my bookmark in it, actually. I got up to page 90 and I just wasn't feeling this one, unfortunately. It's a shame because I wanted to really like it. It's a historical thriller, but it just wasn't really capturing me. And again, it's just that realization of historical books, like there's going to be a couple that I like, but it's not my cup of... It's weird. It's a weird one because I love retellings. I quite like Gothic books that are done. It just, the writing style in this one just didn't connect for me. It should have been something I really liked because it's more Gothic leaning, but it just didn't work, which is such a shame. Again, I'm really not going into detail about what these books are about. I feel like with some of the ones I read, I probably should. Okay, let me go through ones that I actually remember things. This one I remember nothing about. The Will of the Many is based on like Roman society in terms of like the structure of power and stuff. We're following a character. His homeland was dominated and overtaken, and he's now a pawn in other people's game to try and topple this government that's kind of overtaken and conquering different places. And there's also this thing called ceding your will. So there's like the hierarchy and the way it works. Those at the bottom have to cede their will to those higher up. The higher up you go, the more will you get, which is a lots of power. You're able to do more, you're able to do different things. It's basically a way of keeping those in lower position low and unable to raise any higher, and you've got people that are trying to topple that. So the concept is really good. I just didn't like the character. This one I haven't read, so I can't say. Leigh Bardugo, this one, we're following a character who has like small magic in this world. Like that magic can get you a lot, and she's working as like this housemaid for this family who's really horrible, but they're also really down on their luck. They find out that she has magic. They want to use her to get higher in society, and there's this whole like love blossoming between this guy that's got to teach her how to use her magic and stuff. And you know what, I kind of liked it and I've forgotten a lot of it. So God Killer is literally about a god killer. We have Kissin, who is going around killing gods. Thankfully that's sanctioned, so she's allowed to do that, but she comes across a god that she can't kill because it's tied to this girl, and she ends up going off on this journey with the girl and all different things happen. I actually think the world is really, really interesting. I just started to not care. Like, I liked, this was my favourite book out of the two that I read, but again, I know I'm not invested enough to finish the series / reread it. Nettle Black, we're following Henry, and he is running away from his home because in the home they are like, well, no, you're a girl, you're Henrietta, you need to marry, you need to do all these things, and he has no interest in any of that, and so he runs away and instead joins this group where they kind of go around almost like they're citizen police officers in a way, and he disguises himself as Henry and realizes actually maybe he's Henry this whole time, not Henrietta. It's a really interesting story about growing into yourself and finding yourself. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because it's really well known, and again, it's got the conflict. This one, it's basically our main character finds out that he's going to die, but the devil comes to him and says, hey, if you erase one thing from the world, you get an extra day of life, and it's what happens when those things go. This one I've not read, and this one honestly I can't remember anything about, so I just, yeah. Okay, so that's where we're at. We've got a book I haven't read yet, but I can get it from my library, which is Young Mungo by Douglas Stewart. I am interested in this one. I picked this one up at a free library, but again, it's historical. I keep putting it off. If I want to read it, I know there is a copy sat at my library. I can read it from there. My Fine Fellow is a book I've not read, and it's one that I picked up because I really enjoyed this author's other book, which was Dangerous Alliance, I think it was, and I picked this one up when I was at Yout Signed, and it was like on offer. It was really cheap, but I've never actually read it, and I just don't think I'm going to. It has been years, and every single time I think, oh, I'm gonna read this one, I never do. Dangerous Alliance I really enjoyed. It's a fun kind of YA historical, little bit of a mystery going on, but it's based on Jane Austen, and I loved it. It was really, really good, but I've just got no interest in this one. I thought it would be continuing on with the Jane Austen thing, but it's not. It's completely different. Then we've got a duology, which I have been umming and ahhing about whether to unhaul this one for a long time. We have Spin the Dawn and Unravel the Dusk. Now, I really enjoyed Spin the Dawn. I really like books that have got fashion in them, and we're following this seamstress, and she is not actually allowed to be a seamstress. You're only men being able to do alterations to dresses and creating things and stuff in the society. However, her father can't do the work anymore. Her brother's off at war, so she's had to take over and run the shop, and there's this competition that goes on. She disguises herself as a boy to go in, enter this competition, and then there's like this series of 3 magical tasks that they've got to do, and I really liked it. It's like a twist on Mulan, but make it about clothing, and I did really enjoy it. I think it was really magical and wonderful, but I don't think I'm ever going to reread it, and so I'm just holding on to this book because I know I enjoyed it, but also this is one I can get from my library if I ever want to reread it, and you know, it would be good for somebody else to read and enjoy if they want to. So again, I might put this as like a duology set on Vinted or something. I am going to go through after this video and make a pile of ones that I'm going to sell on Vinted. I'm going to try it. If it doesn't work, they're all going to go to my free library. But yeah, we'll see. Whether I actually get round to putting them all up on Vinted by the time this video goes up, you'll just see if it's in the description of the video, I'm afraid. Then we have a book I feel really sad about, and that is The Cadbury Macabre by Tom Mead. I really wanted to love this one. It was actually really kindly gifted to me by the author, and I just feel so bad because I just didn't really get on with this one, and it's one that I keep just like I'm ignoring about, do I want to unhaul it or not, because I feel like if I read the first book maybe I would get on with it better, but for me I just found this was jumping around perspective a lot. Like, it's a murder mystery, it's a locked room, it's like kind of like based on all of like your classic murder mysteries, like the golden age murder mysteries, and as much as I like Agatha Christie, I don't know if golden age mystery is for me. I want to love it, but apart from Agatha Christie, I haven't really got on with many golden age. I like the idea of them. I like mysteries, but they're not like my favorite. I much prefer the cozier mysteries. And this one, like, it was interesting. We're actually following this conjurer. Is it a conjurer or like a magician? Illusionist Joseph Spector, and this one you can read them out of order. You don't need to read them in order, which I like and appreciate, but I don't know, I just feel like I didn't fully connect with what was going on. There were too many perspectives, they were jumping around a bit too much for me to feel fully connected to this one, and I did really struggle with it. So this is one I'd read back in February, and I was struggling that a little bit too much, and since then, you know, I've not thought about it, and again, this is one that's just kind of languishing on my shelves. This will go to a free library because it's dedicated to me instead, so hopefully someone else is going to pick this up and really, really enjoy it. If you are interested in someone that loves Tormid though, I will have Leandra linked below, but it just unfortunately it just didn't really work for me. But I am going to try book 1. I'm pretty sure my library has a copy, so I'm gonna try it from there and see, and if I like it then maybe I will get it in paperback or something. I don't know, it depends how I get on, but I know I really struggled with this one, unfortunately. Another book I struggled with is Penance by Eliza Clark. I actually ended up DNF'ing this book. I really wanted to love it, I really want to like Eliza Clark's work, but I just find that there's something that doesn't work. The concepts I really like, but the way it's done I just don't connect with. This one, we're meant to be following this reporter who is gathering all this evidence about the true story about what happened. We have this group of girls that set fire to another one of their like school friends, like they weren't really friends, like you're learning all these different things. Some of the things that the reporter does is really unethical to get all this information, and at the end of the day, can you really trust anything when this reporter openly admits to going he needs a really good banger of a book because he is struggling so freaking much. I like the concept, didn't like the execution at all. Another book I DNF'd and I felt really bad about is Silvia Moreno Garcia's Silver Nitrate, and I really wanted to love this one. It's a book about a horror movie and it just didn't really work. It was really slow, and I find Silvia Moreno Garcia is a weird one because like such a popular author, except I find that generally speaking they're not a single book where I've gone, oh my god, I love this. Instead there are lots of ones where I'm like, I kind of like the one that I really liked was Mexican Gothic, but apart from that they're not really an author where I'm like, oh my god, I love this work. It's just something that doesn't quite connect, which I feel really bad about because I really want to like it. Just, yeah, this one was just too slow and I ended up giving up, and then I was told, actually, you know, if you don't get on with these characters then there's not much point in continuing on because it is a really slow burn book, and I was really wanting like horror gothic, you know, straight away, and you just didn't get that. Then Exordia by Seth Dickinson, a book I finished, wish I hadn't finished, and I'm so sad about, because this one is a sci-fi book by the author that I really like, the Traitor Barrow Cormorant series that they've done. I need to continue with that series, I really do, but this one just didn't work. We're following a main character, like the first part I actually really liked because we're following Anna, and Anna, she's an immigrant, she's got so much anger against the things that happen to her country. One day is walking around New York City in the park, there's an alien and no one else seems to see this alien, and I really liked it. I liked their dynamic a lot, but then it changes perspective and it just becomes a very military heavy sci-fi, and realizing that's not quite for me. I want more focus on the sci-fi part, like the aliens and stuff, not the military personnel. So yeah, that didn't really quite work, especially with some of the commentary that was made about women and stuff by said military personnel. It just, yeah. Then we have Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Core. I really wanted to love this because I really enjoyed The Salt Grows Heavy by the same author. This one just didn't really work. It is a ghost story. It was a lot more about friendship drama than the ghost story. So we're having this like, it's like a hen do or something. Okay, they're trying to find the perfect wedding venue and they spend a night in this manor in Japan, and then things go wrong from there. But I think for such a short book we needed more of the ghost horror stuff going on quicker than what actually happened. It's a shame because I really wanted to enjoy it, but it just doesn't. Then we have a book that I picked up again at Yelk about 3 years ago, and again, I know I'm not going to read it. I got it for like £3, and it's The Court of Swans by Melanie Dickerson. I've not seen a single person talk about this book or read it or anything, and this one is just a historical fiction, and I don't know, I really wanted to like it. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna read it, and then I just haven't, and it's been sat on my shelves for such a long time, and I know at this point I'm never going to read it, so time to pass it on. Okay, then we have Blood to Poison by Mary Watson. This is a book that I read and finished, and I think a young adult reader is really going to like this. I know that if I read this about 14 years ago, I would have ate this up. I would have loved it so freaking much. We're following a main character who is really angry. She's Savannah is 17, angry and furious at the world, and in her family line, the more angry you are, the faster your lifeline is going to go, but also magic is involved. And there is so much that goes on, but unfortunately it just, for me as a reader now, it's not for me. But I know younger me would have loved it, and so I really want to be able to pass this on to other younger readers that may really enjoy this one, or just somebody that really likes reading young adult. So this one I think is going to go to a free library, and yeah, it was good. I would recommend. I think it's really worth it. I think it's underrated. It's just not for me in my reading taste. Then we have A Handful of Dust by Evelyn Waugh. This is one that I DNF'd, and I just wasn't happy with it. The way people were being portrayed in this book, like, it's just racist, misogynistic, and I was not enjoying it, so I DNF'd. We then have The Collector, and this one is by John Fowles, and I really wanted to like this book, but there is something about the writing style that just I can't connect to. And I've been thinking about, oh, should I give it another try, should I not? But then every time I flick through and I read a bit, I'm like, I just don't like this writing style. We're following someone who kidnaps a girl. It goes from there. We get from his perspective and a little bit from her a little bit later on, but the writing style I couldn't connect to. So again, any classics, they're just going to go straight to the free library. We have a few classics that I've not read. I went through my classic shelves and was really critical about it, because I went through a phase about 3-4 years ago where I was just buying loads of classics from little thrift stores and stuff because they were super cheap, and I was reading quite a lot of classic, and I was like, yep, I'm going to read all of these. And then I fell out of reading classics, and I've read and finished one this year. No, I'm not going to get round to them, and a lot of classics, they're available at the library, so I don't need to keep copies of ones going, well, maybe eventually I'll read them. I just don't need to do that. So we've got Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Again, any of these that you think I really should read, feel free to let me know in the comments, because I'll probably pick them up from the library. Other ones we've got Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I tried to read this one and found it really difficult, and I just couldn't get into it. Just like the way it was written, it's stream of consciousness, which can sometimes really work for me, but other times just doesn't. Didn't work for me in this case. We then have Phantom of the Opera, and I really wanted to love this one, but I just don't enjoy it as much compared to other classics like Dracula and Frankenstein and things. Phantom of the Opera, I mean, it's very well known. You've got this phantom that lives in the opera. He becomes obsessed with this girl that can sing really well, and things get dark from there. Unfortunately, it just didn't quite work for me. It's a shame, but I also know I'm not going to reread it, but I am pleased that I've read it. Another one, we have Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. I love Jane Austen. I really enjoyed this book. It's just I don't need this copy because I have another beautiful edition that was kindly gifted to me instead, so I'm going to get rid of this one. And then, do I have any other classics in this pile? I might as well just quickly run through them. So we've got Oscar Wilde, The Importance of Being Earnest. I really wanted to read everything Oscar Wilde's done because I love The Picture of Dorian Gray. It's my favourite book ever. But this, unfortunately, like, I'm not going to read plays. It's just not something I do, and I really wanted to be that person, but I'm just not that person. The House on the Strand by Daphne du Maurier. I really enjoyed Rebecca by them, and I keep saying to myself, oh, I'm going to read more, but I'm probably not going to. I really want to, but again, my library has Daphne du Maurier books, so I can just get them from there rather than taking up space on my shelves. We also have Scott Fitzgerald, Tender as the Night. I read, oh, what's it called? Oh my god, why am I blanking on the name? The Great Gatsby for college, and I did like it. I don't know whether that's just because the teacher I had was really, really good, or whether I actually enjoyed that book and I was like, oh, I'm going to get back into F. Scott Fitzgerald. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not. Instead, I read a non-fiction book about Zelda Fitzgerald, and honestly, since then, like, I'm just not interested in reading F. Scott Fitzgerald. I've kept my college book because that's got all my annotations and things in it, but I'm not going to actually actively reread anything, if that makes sense. Then I have The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. Again, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to read it. Yeah, I've not read it. It's been years, and again, I can get it from my library. Same with Stoner. This one is by John Williams, exactly the same. We've got Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. Again, all of these ones I can get from my library, as much as I'm like, oh, I'll definitely read. I'm not going to, okay? It's been years. I'm not going to read them. I can get them from my library. They don't need to clutter up my shelves. I would rather focus on the ones that I'm actively interested in reading as classic, rather than cluttering up with ones that I'm probably not going to read for a long time. Then we've got, again, another one of Oscar Wilde. We've got De Profundis, The Ballad of the Reading Girl, and I don't know, I feel like this is one that I could really enjoy, but again, I think I would just pick this one up from the library to read. But I am more interested Out of all the other classics I've mentioned, I'm more inclined to this one. Now, non-classics, we have The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. I'm so upset because I really wanted to love this one and I just didn't. I really struggled, but Into the Vampire is one of my favourite books of all time. Like, I love it so freaking much. But this one, I don't know, it just didn't work. I found it too long-winded. I wasn't that interested in following Lestat. Yeah, it just didn't work. It was a lot of repetitive. Like, at the start, I really enjoyed this one, and then from there, it just didn't work. Such a shame. It's such a shame because I love Into a Vampire. It's just this one just did not work. Then we have a book that I ended up just DNFing. It's my favourite. This is a French book. Okay, my camera just kind of cut out on me. I don't know where I got to because it was like, okay, you've filmed too long. So I don't know where I got up to, but this author is Swiss, but they wrote it in French. And so it's translated from French, and I didn't like this book. It's about abuse, and I just couldn't get on with it. So yeah, unfortunately not. Then we have Suzumi by Makoto Shinkai, and this is a book that I picked up because I loved the film, but I don't like the book. It's one that I didn't enjoy being in our character's head actually, and the way they are towards the cat in this book. In the film it's really sad. It genuinely made me cry. I was in floods of tears. We went to the cinema to see it and I just burst into tears. My partner's looking at me like, oh my god, what is happening? I really didn't enjoy reading the book and being in this character's head and the way she is towards the cat. Like, I couldn't deal with it. So unfortunately no. Parts of me wants to keep it because of that movie experience and it's like that reminder, but I just don't need to. Then we have Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth. I'm never going to reread this, okay? I read it, I completed it, I'm pleased that I read it, never going to reread it. This is actually a really dark book. There's a lot of things in this that I think are really graphic just for the sake of being graphic, and yeah, I'm never going to reread it. Like, it's something I've read, I can go, yes, I have done it. Is it one that I feel like everyone needs to read? No. It was fine. But you know, we did it. We actually accomplished it. I finished it. It's just not for me. So we're just gonna move on. This one we're following, it's kind of like a cyclical nature. We're following an architect, they fall on hard times, and then all these different things happen. We follow the children, and then it all ends up with this church that's being built and stuff like it. It's just this whole thing, and I just, yeah, was not impressed. Okay, then we have Promise Boys by Nick Brooks. This was decent, like it was fine. It's not one that I think about loads, but it was decent. It's like a young adult mystery thriller. It was put on the Dark Academia table in Waterstones, which is so misleading, and I'm pretty sure they just put it there because it takes place in a school. It's not Dark Academia. It's got nothing to do with Dark Academia. It is a mystery thriller instead, which, you know what, I do like young adult mystery, but I'm quite particular with which ones I'll read. And this one, like, it was good. There's a lot of commentary on how black people are treated, and I think it was good, and I think this is one that a lot of young adult readers can get a lot of joy from. It's just, I went into it expecting one thing and got a completely different story, and that's fine, but I think someone else will prefer this more than I did. Okay, then we have Bright We Burn. There is another one of these somewhere around here, so it's the second and third book. They're around here somewhere in And I Darken series by Kirsten White. Now, I still have And I Darken because I'm not quite ready to let go of that one. Have I read that book in ages? No, but I did reread this series twice, and I really like it because it's a retelling of Vlad the Impaler, but with a gender twist. And so I did really like it, but I know I'm not going to ever reread the whole series again, but I'm still not quite ready to let go of book one yet. So I still have book one, but it's one that I'm like, would I recommend it to people? Not necessarily. It's very slow, it's historical fiction leaning. It's for those that love retellings of Dracula, of the Vlad the Impaler who inspired Dracula. Like, it's for those people. And so if you're one of them, give it a try. It's slow though, it's very, very slow. But I did really like book one. And to be fair, the whole series, like, I did really enjoy this trilogy. It was one that as I was when I was younger, I really enjoyed, but I know I'm not going to read them, and I know I could get them from the library. So for now, I'm going to unhaul the second and third one, but eventually maybe I will unhaul the first one. I'm just not quite there yet. And then we have Magnolia Park's Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings, and I thought this was really, really long, really didn't enjoy it. Like, I had fun with the first couple books. Honestly, it's like they're fun, trashy reads. Something I would read on Kindle, something I'd get from from the library if I need that sort of book, but it's not for me. It's like a contemporary toxic romance, and this was so long. Oh my god, it got to the end and I'm just like, oh god, you're dragging this out so much. So yeah, it's not my favourite. Plus I actually prefer the Daisy Hates series, like, so you get Magnolia Parks and then Daisy Hates, and I prefer the Daisy Hates books anyway, so yeah, this was not my favourite. Another classic, we have Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. I'm only getting rid of this one because I have another copy. I really like this book. It's good, it's fun, it's gothic. Okay, well, now we've got this half to do. Honestly, it's taken so long. Well, I just got a notification that Rainie's doing sprints on her Patreon and I really want to take part, so we're gonna have to hurry up. So we've got Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I've not read this. I picked this one up from my charity shop when everyone's getting back into it because of the new book coming out. I know I'm not gonna read this. It's just not gonna happen, unfortunately. The Wicked King by Holly Black. I'm only getting rid of it because my partner bought me a box set and I picked this one up thrifted. I really like Holly Black. Again, it's kind of like nostalgia of teenage me. Then we've got The Skeleton Key by Erin Kelly. I picked this one up secondhand, I think, and I've just never actually read it since. It's one that looks really interesting. It's like one book, a lifetime of obsession and stuff, but I just don't think I'm ever... it sounds really good though. Hang on a minute. So we've got one book. 50 years ago, Frank Churcher wrote a book that would make his family's fortune and ruin their lives. The Golden Bones was written as a fairy tale and a treasure map, and it quickly turned into a dangerous obsession for a cult of readers desperate to find the final piece of the puzzle. The Churchers were torn apart by fame it brought them, and after a terrifying attack, Frank's daughter Nell became a recluse. With the family reunited to mark the anniversary of the publication, Frank has one last surprise in store. Oh, that sounds really good. Okay, I'm gonna keep this one. Let me know if you've read it, see what you think. I think I'm gonna keep this one on my shelves, because that sounds really good actually. I think I want to at least try this one before I unhaul it. So, okay, we'll keep that. We then have Sarah Waters' Fingersmith. I'm just unhauling it because this edition isn't amazing. I do want to try a Sarah Waters book. I know Jennifer absolutely loves them. I'm going to have her linked below. I think I might just ask her and just be like, look, where should I start? I don't know where to start. I want to give them a try, but also my library has loads of Sarah Waters books, so I'm pretty confident I can get a copy from there. Plus, I really don't like this copy, and yes, I am that sort of person that's like, but you're not pretty, so I don't want to read you, which is so stupid, and it's not actually the case. I'm more like that with books I keep putting off, because like this, I do want to read a Sarah Waters book, but I don't want to read it from this edition, and there are so many editions that I can be fussy. So I'm just like that sometimes, not all the time, but I am petty enough to be like that. Okay, so Magnolia Parks. Okay, so we got the first one and then Daisy Hates, mainly because like I would probably reread Daisy Hates. Like I enjoyed that. I want to read the next Daisy Hates book, but I'm quite happy to have them on Kindle rather than owning physical copies. I don't need to own them, so not going to. Plus I got them really cheap and like they were on offer. We've got Mad Love. This is a book that I really thought I was going to read. I actually had a bigger Mad Love book. It was like more like graphic novel style format, but it was like a really big hardback and I really enjoyed it. Then I lent it to somebody and never saw it back. And it's such an expensive book that I can't justify buying it again. Thought, oh okay, that's fine. I'll read the novel, you know, I'll treat myself, get the novel, and I've just never picked it up. So one of those things where I'm just like, I want to read and stuff, but I know I'm never actually going to, and it just is what it is. A book I DNF'd, Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Koresh. I really wanted to love this one. I think the concept is really good and I know some people are really going to like it. Unfortunately, just for me, like the writing style just felt juvenile, and that's the only thing that I didn't really get on with it, but it stopped me from being able to really appreciate this book because it just felt like the characters we were following were like teenagers, but they're not. And so that's where I was just like, it's just jarring. It's taken me out of the enjoyment of it, which is a shame. Printer's Devil Court by Susan Hill. Little ghost story, very small. Picked it up from a little secondhand shop, and you know what? I enjoyed it. It was good. Never think about it though, and yeah, it's one of those little ones that I think free library will be fine. Then I've got a couple of other small little black penguin classics. A couple of these I've read, a couple of them I haven't. So we have Only Dull People Are Brilliant at Breakfast, and it's literally just little witticisms, and I'm just like, I don't think I'm ever actually going to read it. I mean, I'm not too upset because these are like £2, £1 each. We then have Lord Arthur Savile's Crime. I read this one, I liked it enough, but not enough for me to keep. And then The Beautiful Cassandra by Jane Austen. I like. Wasn't my favorite thing. Like, it was written by Jane Austen when she was a teenager, and just, yeah, it's not my favorite thing. So I'm gonna get rid of those 3. We then have an ARC, which is gonna go to my free library. So Not Like Other Girls by Meredith Adamo, and this is one that I picked up again at Yelp for free, and I just haven't been that interested in it. Again, it's more like young adult mystery thriller, and yeah, it's just not something I'm too interested in reading. These piles are gonna fall. We have Persuasion by Jane Austen, again because I have a nicer edition now, but I do like this book. We then have Monumenta by Lara Harworth. This is one that I was given because I went to a publisher event. You know, it does sound interesting. It's about a home that's going to be bulldozed, but she doesn't want to. It's meant to be a really powerful little story, but I just don't think I'm the sort of reader for that one. Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Conyers, I really wanted to like, but I just didn't. It was more of a love story than an actual vampire story, and I just wasn't that impressed. Like, I like the idea of the vampires that you get in this, but it's so much more historical love story than actual vampire story, which was such a shame. Like, there was so much potential, but it just didn't really work. Okay, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, one of my favorite books ever. Okay, one of my favorite. I have 3 that I kind of go between. We have The Picture of Dorian Gray, the uncensored version, Interview with a Vampire, and then Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. They're my top 3 books. Depending on the day you ask me, I will change my mind on what 3. I'm not getting rid of this one because I didn't like it and stuff. This is the thrifted edition that I read, and I treated myself and bought the 20th anniversary edition. So I have that in paperback instead, and I love it and adore it, but I am not the sort of person to allow myself to have multiple copies of a book that, as much as I love it, it is huge, and I'm not going to do that. Okay, I've got the edition that I really love. There is one other edition I would love to get my hands on, but I know I'm never actually going to be able to, and that's the one where it's like, I'll see if I can find a picture and put it up. It'll be easier. I know I'm never going to be able to get hold of that for a decent price, so it's fine. I've got a really nice edition. I treated myself to it because I love the book so much. I reread it earlier this year. Was it earlier this year? Yes, and I really enjoyed my time with it, but I don't need 2 editions, so I would let myself have 2 editions if I could find that edition that I really want, but otherwise no. We then have Angels of Music by Kin Newman. This is a book I picked up because I thought I hadn't read it. Like, my dad likes this one, and then I was like, oh okay, I'll give it a try, and realised I haven't actually read it, and I wasn't that impressed with it. It was really bad to say. This one is kind of like a spoof off of the Phantom of the Opera. It's almost like Charlie's Angels, but make it Phantom of the Opera-esque, and it's like, it's fine, it's funny, it's silly, not my favourite thing and not something I would reread. Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. I actually really love this book, but I treated myself to the new copies because this was my sister's copy, and you know what, I love it. Okay, I love this for the hot pink, but the 4th book came out and it doesn't match this series, and so I'm like, you know what, instead of buying books that match this, like books 2 and 3, and then the 4th one being different, I'm waiting for the 4th one to come out in paperback, and then it matches the new paperback editions, and I need to continue on with that series so badly. Like, I know I love it, and I'm doing the thing I always do where I know I love it, so therefore I'm not reading it. This is a really unusual one about Area X, and you go in and okay, things are weird, it's bizarre, it is unusual, you don't know what's real, you don't know what, like, it's all over the place, but I love it. Okay, I really love it. It's so good, and I need to continue on with this series. I think it's going to be a favourite series, like I genuinely do. The Bugea Portrait by David Hewson. This is one that I picked up again. It's like an advanced copy, but it was really old advanced copy, so like when I picked this one up the book was already out. I think they were just like leftover arcs that they had, and I thought it would be interesting. It's like a thriller thing, except I'm not really a massive thriller person. There are select thrillers that I will read, but I'm very fussy. I'm more of a mystery person, and cozy mystery, not so much like thriller mysteries. Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. I really wanted to love this one, okay? I mean, it's taking place in a zoo. I really wanted to love it. It's a magical zoo. Unfortunately, I just didn't. I feel like halfway through, the love interest suddenly changed out of nowhere. Like, I knew it was going to happen because it's like a sapphic book. Like, that's how it was promoted. It was like sapphic, cozy, romantasy, and all of it, except, okay, sure, some cozy vibes, but we've got the same problem that I had with the Baby Dragon Cafe, where the characters just feel so juvenile. Like, why are they so young when they're not meant to be young? Like, just because it's cozy doesn't mean that your characters are juvenile, and that's something that really grated me. I think what they started doing is cozy got really popular, and so they were really pushing that, and then as a result the books that were coming out, I'm just like, you know what would work for a young adult audience? So I actually think this one and the Baby Dragon Cafe would work really well for a young adult audience, not for me and what I want from my cozies, unfortunately. So yeah, this one I did read, but I was disappointed in, unfortunately, and I feel really bad. Okay, then we have The Cat, the Corpse in the Old Balm by Katie High. This is one that I picked up thrifted, did mean to read it. Honestly, I'm never going to get around to reading it. There are other cozy mysteries that I've got that I really want to read, and I just don't think I'm ever actually going to. My sister read this one and she said it was good and it was okay, but that's it. And I'm just like, you know what? I've got so many books that I need more than an okay time because I've got loads to get through. Like, it is kind of ridiculous. I love it. I love the problem that I have, but also it does mean that I'm a lot more fussy when it comes to books. Like, if they're just going to be okay, they can move on. Then we have The Righteous and the Damned by Renee Adier. Now, this is part of a series that I really loved the first book. The Beautiful, loved it. Oh my gosh, that book is so good. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. But it got loads of criticisms because it's meant to be a vampire book, but the vampires are kind of implied. It's there in the background. It's all in the gothic tension of it all. It's never overtly done. And so then kind of went, okay, fine. I see the criticisms. Now I'm going to do a 180 and I'm going to throw it in your face. And there's going to be werewolves and vampires and elves and all of these stuff. And I'm like, it's too much now. And now we're building to almost like a Twilight battle where it's going to be between these different factions and they're going to have this big battle and stuff. And I'm just like, it is so drastically different to that first book. And I loved the first book so much. And it's such a shame because I'm keeping the first book because I really enjoyed it. I will probably reread that at some point eventually, but I don't feel the need to ever continue on. In my mind, that book is a standalone and that's it. So much potential, but I just didn't enjoy these. They were such a change compared to that first book. So I read the second one, it was such a change. I was like, okay, we're going to try with that third one. I'm sure it'll be fine. And then it still wasn't. And then the fourth one came out a few years later and I'm just like, you know what, I'm just not interested anymore. I've lost the interest because it's not going back to how that first one was. So we're just going to have it, the first one on its own. The Way of Kings, Part 1 by Brandon Sanderson. This one I actually do love, but this book itself was in a house fire years ago, but this is one of my books that I would read constantly. Like, before BookTube, I had about 50 books and I would just reread. I would just cycle my way back through all of those 50 books, and this was one of them. But when we had the house fire, I got really bad memories attached to it, so I was like, I just don't want to. And then someone kindly gifted to me the first one in a nice new copy, so I don't have to have those bad memories and stuff. To be fair, I should have done that, but I just never really had the money for books back then, so I wouldn't do that. But when I was rereading this one more recently, I say more recently, it was like last year sometime, with the intention to reread the whole series ready for the new one that came out. Have I done that? No, I've just stuck with I've reread that first book. I've reread this book 4 times. I don't know, my rereading has dropped, and also we've then fallen into a bit of fantasy slump, so yeah. But I'm only unhauling this one because I have another copy of it, so that's fine. Then Things Went Dark by B. Fitzgerald. This is an art copy. It sounds interesting. It's like this talk show, and then things went dark, like the lights went out. When they come back on, somebody's dead and they've got to work it out. And it does sound really fun and interesting, but I don't know, there's something about it that I'm not 100% on. I actually got given 2 arcs. I sent one to my sister, so she's going to be reading that one and she's going to let me know. But I think for me personally, I'm happy to just give this to a free library. Okay, then we have Tequila Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This is one that I really like. This is like teenage me again. It was really fun, really good, and it was just a Little Mermaid reimagining, and it was a lot of fun. Like, it's typical tropey young adult back then, and I enjoyed it for that, but I'm not going to reread it. Then we have another classic book. We have Charles Dickens' Christmas books. I was reading one Christmas short story every year on Christmas Eve, and I really enjoyed my time with it, but I came to the conclusion that I just like A Christmas Carol. I think what I might do is, if I feel like doing that again and maybe making it like a book that I reread every Christmas or something, I will get myself a nice little edition of A Christmas Carol and leave it at that. Then we have Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo. This is one that my sister gifted, so I feel kind of bad getting rid of this one, but I did read it and enjoy it when she gifted it to me. But I've not continued on with the series, and I have kind of forgotten everything that went on, and I'm probably not going to reread it. Again, this is one where I'm like, if you like your young adult books, give this one a try. It's really fun. It's really just kind of like classic young adult fantasy, and so for that I enjoyed my time with it, but I'm not going to continue on. Then we've got The Housekeepers. I really wanted to love this book. Unfortunately, it just didn't really work. I thought it would be quite fun and silly, but it just kind of didn't do what I thought it would do. I thought it was going to be like, so we've got like this group of people, they're planning to basically rob their mistress's house, and all the servants are in on it. Things just kind of went in a direction I wasn't expecting, and it just didn't really work, unfortunately. We have another Sarah Waters book, The Paying Guest. Again, I don't know where I'm starting with Sarah Waters, so I think I'm just going to start fresh and get them from my library and see if I really like one in particular, then maybe I'll have it for my shelves. But again, I'm just going to probably message Jennifer and be like, hey, help, where do I start? When I'm in the mood for it, which I can't say when that's gonna be. But then we've got Animal Farm by George Orwell. I did like this one. I think it is a really powerful book. I can understand why so many people have read it, recommended it, why it's taught at schools and things. Don't need to reread it. And then we've got The Cleave. This is a book I really wanted to love. I love this cover so much. This is a King Arthur retelling, but from the 4 women perspective. But it's a shame because you don't actually get perspectives from all 4 women, which was like, why? I really wanted that, and it just didn't work the way I wanted it to. I wanted so much more, but I did pick it up just for the cover, and the cover is super pretty, and I think maybe someone that really likes King Arthur retellings could really enjoy this one. For me, I'm not a massive fan of King Arthur retellings. Again, I just picked it up for the cover, and I was like, I'm just going to take a chance on this. The chance didn't work, but I'm pleased I gave it a try. Now I Rise, as I mentioned earlier, is part of the And I Darken trilogy, which again, I really enjoyed that first one. And probably I'm gonna eventually reread that first one and then be upset I got rid of these, but at the end of the day, I know I can get them from the library or something, but I don't want my books to be overflowing these shelves, okay? I've got 4 shelves in my room, and then I have a smaller Monger one, which me and my partner share, and I don't really want it to go beyond that. I don't know, I'm sure eventually it would. Okay, then we've got a Jennifer Saint book, and I feel really bad, but it's Hera. I really enjoyed the 2 previous books. We've got Ariadne and Electra. Did not enjoy this one, unfortunately. We're following Hera, and it's her story, and I just didn't enjoy it, unfortunately, and I'm just going to leave it there. I think, you know, if you really like your Greek mythology retellings, give it a try. Unfortunately, it just didn't hold up to some of the others that I've read. I just could not connect to the character, and it does make sense because obviously we're following a goddess, they're not human, so it does make sense, but for me, I struggled with it. We then have They Drown Our Daughters by Katerina Monroe. I enjoyed this one. I thought it was really good, really interesting. We're literally following this family, and we have Cape Disappointment that is haunted. Unfortunately though, I haven't thought about it since I read it. Like, I enjoyed it. I think it is a good, like, if you're looking for like a little ghost haunted story, but I don't ever think about it, and I genuinely don't remember exactly what happened. It's one of those ones where I'm like, I know I enjoyed reading it, but I don't remember it after, and I'm not going to reread it, so it's gonna go, and I feel kind of bad whenever that happens, but at the same time, like, it's fine. If you enjoyed it at the time, that's great. It was good for the time that you read it. Okay, then we have a couple of Kat Dunn books. We've got Dangerous Remedy and Monstrous Design. They are books 1 and 2, and it's a book series that's based on like Frankenstein and the French Revolution, and normally I eat that stuff up, but these are young adult. I don't know, I enjoyed my time with them, but I don't feel the need to reread them. I don't feel the need to finish the series, so I'm just gonna move on. There is a Kat Dunn book that came out, I think Hungerstone, that I am interested in reading, that's based on Camilla, I think it is, but I think I'm going to get it from my library to try. Oh god, it's fallen. Try it from the library first before I actually purchase a copy to see, do I want it for my shelf. I liked the concept of this, it just, yeah, again, it's not stayed with me. Okay, then we have the Penelope ad by Margaret Atwood. Honestly, I was going to unhaul this ages ago, and then I didn't because I'm like, loads of people love this book, and you know, maybe if I reread it I would love it more, and the reality is I'm not going to reread this book. I didn't enjoy it that much, and we've just got to accept that. Unfortunately, this one didn't work for me. This is a retelling of Penelope, the wife of Odysseus, and her story, and I just did not find it as compelling as others, unfortunately. Then we have Dark and Shallow Lies by Ginny May Saying. This is another one where I'm like, I enjoyed my time while I was reading it, but I don't think about it. I can't really remember what happened. Going to unhaul it. This one is like a missing girl, town full of psychics, and a secret that won't stay buried, and I do remember there being like a little twist and stuff, but I don't remember being that shocked over it. It was fine, young adult, fine while I read it. Somebody else can get some joy out of it. Then we have The Deathless Scales by Kieran Milgard Hargrave. Now this is a really good book. Again, kind of like Vlad the Impaler, Dracula inspired, but it's historical fiction and we're following it from two sisters' perspective. And I did enjoy my time with this. This is one that I've reread a couple of times. I don't feel the need to own it anymore. If I get the need to read it, I can get it from my library. But again, this is like young adult me, and I've just kind of like changed as a reader past that young adult stage. So yeah, unfortunately I will be unhauling that one, but it was one that I would say if you've got young adult readers and they want that historical fiction inspired book where the vampires aren't at the forefront, it's all implied, kind of just got seeing this sisterhood between two girls and the story that goes on from there, then yes, give it a try. This one, A Thousand Ships by Natalie Haynes, again, like I was in my Greek mythology retelling era, I read this one, didn't get on with it, kept it, one for a video that I was doing, and two because so many people liked it and I felt really bad. I'm going to keep hold of books just because others enjoy them. If they don't bring me enjoyment, then I don't need to keep them. That does not mean that others who enjoyed it are wrong. It does not mean that I'm wrong for not enjoying it. It's just everybody's different. So yeah. And then the last one is Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillia. This is a bit of a shame because I really thought I was going to love this book, and I do think it is a good tale, but I think it's a bit too long. I really like the atmosphere. I think the actual story is good. It's a retelling. We've got Sorsha, who is having to do all of these things to save her brother. So her stepmother turned all of her siblings, her brothers, into swans, and now she's got to do this thing to be able to get her brothers back. And you know, it's good. I just found it a little bit long. I don't think I'm ever going to reread it. Honestly, I really went into it thinking I was absolutely going to adore it, but I don't know. There's something about it that just didn't fully connect with me, which is a shame because on paper, that book should have been definitely a book that I love and adore. Didn't for some reason, which is always frustrating when you get a book and you're like, on paper, you are perfect. And then you read it and you're like, but why aren't you working? Anyway, that is all the books. So out of all of those books, I am going to keep one for me to try, and that because I actually think this could be good, because that premise was very good. I now see why I picked this one up. If I still don't like it, fair enough, my initial instinct was correct, but it's enough intrigue that I'm like, actually you can stay. But this is it. These are all the books that I am unhauling. Again, probably some of those, I mean not all of these, but a few will go up on Vinted. I will test it out, see how I feel about it. I will have it linked. Again, I don't know when I'm going to do that, but if it's not in time for this video going live, again, I will do an announcement on my Instagram stories or something, mention it in a vlog or something. That is the unhaul. I have been talking for absolutely ages. My camera filled up twice, so it's been long. Hopefully editor me can condense it down a little bit. It's going to take me hours to do, but you know, there we are. You have to let me know, do you like unhauling your books? I know some people hate it, some people really don't like unhauling, and I definitely used to be that way. You've listened to me for a really long time. Thank you so much if you've made it this far. You really are absolutely amazing. If you've made it this far and just don't have anything to comment on anything I've unhauled or anything like that, then just leave me like Bookstack, because clearly we have Bookstacks everywhere. And yeah, I will catch you in the very next video. Wait a minute, that's not how I end videos. Let's start again. So if you made it this far and just don't know what to comment, then leave a little Bookstack emoji for me. Thank you so much for watching, like genuinely, your patience to put up with listening to me ramble this long, I really appreciate. Thank you for all of your support in all of my videos. Like, I have loved all of my time here on YouTube, and I just, yeah, thank you for making it possible. An extra special thank you goes out to my Patreons for all of your support over there. Just genuinely, it means so freaking much. Anyone I've mentioned will be linked below, as well as my social media accounts, and just everything is always linked below: Discord, Patreon, etc. I will leave you, and I will see you in the very next video.